How many Bitcoins does it take to get some goddamn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. We do have a bit of a mixed day over in the crypto markets. The last time I made a video was actually a few days ago, but everything we talked about still holds true. When I made that video, we were sitting right here at around $37,000, $38,000 for Bitcoin. I did mention the fact that we did have heavy resistance, and you can see right here the resistance has played out pretty much as we expected it to. We had some right here, then again on this downward sloping trend once again, and right here when I put out my video I said that there was a possibility we were probably going to get rejected again. We did in fact fall down. You can see we did touch all the way down to about $34,600, and that coincided perfectly with the actual top of this blue box territory. So it's not really a matter of whether or not we are in a downtrend. We are clearly in a short-term downtrend for Bitcoin, but the biggest question on everybody's mind is this the start of a massive bear market, and are we looking for this long drawn out couple of years of just terrible sideways downwards Bitcoin price, or are we still potentially in the Bitcoin super cycle and we could see something similar to what I believe could happen, like what we saw back in 2013 where we had a mini bear cycle before continuing? Well, there are some indications right now that are flashing that are showing us that Bitcoin is doing something extremely similar to what we did back in March of 2020 when we had the scare with the pandemic, we had the massive sell-off. So I want to show you three things specifically that are showing us, that are echoing essentially, that we could be putting in a potential bottom. Now, we don't have verification of that just yet. We are waiting for the confirmation come Monday. However, if we do play out to the upside and Bitcoin does decide to continue its rally, there is that possibility of an $85,000 Bitcoin within the next few months. Now, I don't want to get everybody too excited. We are going to go over the short term. I'll let you know exactly what I'm looking at. And of course, we do have some fundamentals for Bitcoin, which are looking quite positive at the end of this video. So if that sounds good to you and you like updates like this, definitely get subscribed to the channel. Drop a like if you do appreciate this comment and this type of content. And let's dive in and have a look at the video. And you can drop a comment as well if you're interested. So obviously having a look right here, there's a few different ways you can look at this. You know, some people can see this potentially as some kind of an asymmetrical triangle. I also believe that there is the possibility that we could be putting in a bit of a descending triangle, maybe with this down here being a short-term bear trap. So right now we are looking for the breakout either to the upside or we're looking for the breakout to the downside. It's very hard to play, especially if you're trading right now, because we're literally in the absolute center range right now, kind of just waiting on Bitcoin to decide what it wants to do, right? So it has been a little bit boring in the markets. Now, if you did take an opportunity to get that short in, congratulations, that was a good trade. However, if you're not in a short, I wouldn't exactly be rushing in to the upside or the downside at these levels. I'd wait for a confirmed breakout to the upside, preferably putting in a short-term higher high, which for me is going to need Bitcoin to come higher than this little rally up here over $39,200. Now you can see even once we break out of that, we still have a lot of resistance levels overhead. These are all the purple lines that I've drawn for you. So even if we do happen to break out to the upside, we're going to obviously have that resistance that I spoke about, and then the next is right here at around 40,000, and then we do have the dreaded $42,000 level. Now what we're looking for continuation for the bulls is some type of a higher high, retesting that high, and then continuing. So really what you would want is some kind of a breakout to the upside, maybe come up here to about 40, retest down here, right? Retest, you can even see the VPVR has a lot of interest up at this level, retest somewhere around that $39,400 level, and then look for the bounce for continuation. However, there is that possibility that we fall back into the blue zone, which is why right now is a little bit of a no trade area until we have more of a confirmation on what we're looking for. Now, having a look right here, I do like using the 1 hour on Market Cypher. We did in fact get the blood diamond up here, and of course we took that plummet. This is what we were looking at with the resistance. This is why, you know, I wasn't trying to be a bear. You guys know I'm not a Bitcoin bear, but short term, I was saying that the better play is to go with the trend. We have been trending down, so the better play is to short the resistance until we get some kind of a breakout confirmation, which we have not gotten yet to this point, which is why I was optimistically cautious on the short-term price of Bitcoin. Now, we have put in some smaller waves here, which could signal that we're going to the upside. However, the overall trend on the momentum from top to bottom is still sloping down, which is telling me there is still a lot of potential selling pressure on this market. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the confirmation over here, especially on this curve of the momentum wave on the CME futures. The CME futures have a very big influence, if you don't know that, on the overall Bitcoin price. I definitely highly recommend, if you are trading, to look at both the spot charts as well as the CME futures charts. Remember, CME doesn't trade on the weekend, so we get a very different sort of, it's just a different perspective, right? You're only trading 5 days a week. This is what a lot of the, Wall Street guys are looking at. So to not look at it would sort of, it wouldn't exactly be the greatest idea if you're trying to get a better picture of what's happening in the market right now. So I am waiting for that confirmation tomorrow. If we get confirmation on that, then I do think we'd have a better chance to break to the upside. So essentially, guys, not much has changed in the analysis from 3 days ago. We're still ranging. We're still in the triangle. We're still waiting for a breakout to the upside, but the resistance has been holding us down. And just like the trend has been our friend to the upside, when you have a trend to the downside, the trend is also your short-term friend, right? So once again, not getting bearish, but I'm just being realistic. Right now, we have a lot of selling pressure. We have a lot of downwards resistance. This is why, for the short term, shorting the resistance has been the better play. That may not be the case next week, but I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Now, having a look at the overall Bitcoin price, let's zoom out. Let's look at the macro. So plan B, a lot of people be giving them flack. Bitcoin has been falling to the lower regions of the stock to flow model. Now, in the past, that doesn't really mean anything for the Bitcoin price. We know that the stock to flow model is essentially just a guideline for Bitcoin. It's not an exact number. It doesn't matter if we have to be at that exact number at this exact time. It's just a matter of staying within that stock to flow model, right? And he still says that $288,000 is still in play for Bitcoin this cycle. You've heard the term super cycle thrown around. We'll get to that in a minute, but he says it would really surprise him if Bitcoin did not touch back to the black stock to flow model line in this phase, regardless of current volatility. The yellow, green, and blue dots will be much higher than the red, orange dots. Now, somebody actually commented and said, what gives this confidence given the large downside deviation from the model at the moment? Is it on-chain analytics? And he went on to reply, deviation is not much different from 2013 or 2017, just the usual inertia after a halving. And this is why we've said that really having a look at what we're seeing right now in the charts does look a lot more like the 2013 mini bear cycle, right, where we go sideways and down for a period of months rather than a long drawn out bear market that lasts a few years. Obviously waiting on confirmation, but right now, looking at the data in front of us, that's exactly what we have to pretty much go off of, and I still feel about that. In fact, Vance Spencer, so he's the co-founder of investment firm Framework. He even went on to say, no, I don't think this is the end of the bull run. I actually have trouble defining what a bull run is in crypto because really, technically, if you look at Bitcoin's logarithmic scale, Bitcoin's really technically never truly been in a bear market, but obviously, we do have these periods of downtrends, but it does always put in higher highs and higher lows on the macro. He says also, the resounding sense that I get is that people are underestimating the amount of capital that's coming off of the sidelines by probably 1 to 2 orders of magnitude. And there has been a lot of FUD recently. Obviously, when we were having the major dump, it was just bearish news after FUD article, China banning, we had Elon Musk tweeting the environment, Bitcoin's killing the environment with its electrical usage. So it was definitely a lot of negativity. Also, I want to talk about the co-founder and chairman of crypto-focused hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital, Kyle Davies. Now, he was over on, I believe it was this Up Only show that these guys do over here, and he said that he thinks that there won't be a repeat of the 2017 bull market in the current market cycle. He says that Bitcoin and altcoins are in a super cycle, while warning that crypto markets will still see significant corrections. With a super cycle, there's still volatility. He says, I mean, especially for Bitcoin, it's a fixed supply asset. That doesn't mean we go into a 4-year bear market. It just means that we correct and okay, now we've corrected. Now let's keep going, right? There's no more false selling beyond this. Basically is the thinking. This pullback was harsh. It was not because we were over leveraged. That's what he tends to think, although a lot of people would disagree that many people were over leveraged. What's interesting about this guy is they actually apparently shorted the move down. So they did take the bearish approach, but they still believe the macro is intact and the super cycle is still a possibility. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you actually think that we are going to see a Bitcoin super cycle, that we're just having a bit of diminishing returns, we're having something similar to 2013, or do you actually think that, it's over, we should have all sold at 55, 65, whatever, and that's it? Personally, I'm going to go with the first part. I think that I don't think we're going to have like a blast off to 65K, but I do think that we are going to continue to recover and go upwards into next year based on what I'm looking at in the markets right now. In fact, in the latest market update from Decent Trader, which they were looking at different on-chain indicators, they actually think that Bitcoin will have a bullish continuation. They say uncertainty after the recent crash and fears around President Biden's announcement at the G7 summit, right? Elbows only, guys, elbows only, coming this weekend. Well, it's happening. It happened, right? We have pictures of it. They were talking about the ransomware attacks. That was more FUD that came out as well. Fortunately, they say that there are several measures of on-chain strength that are now suggesting a bounce from a bearish phase with an overall bull market could be underway. Now, on-chain indicators have been a very good source of knowledge when it comes to the potential of guessing the way that the markets can move. However, due to the fact that we have lots of over-the-counter deals happening in the background, you kind of do have to take these with a grain of salt. But one thing you can look at is active addresses, which measure whether Bitcoin is overbought or oversold at certain price points relative to the number of addresses on the blockchain. We also have something known as the spent output profit ratio, or the SOPR. So like the SOPR, this indicator for active addresses is currently at about the same position as just after the bear market floor in December of 2018, as well as the crash of 2020. Just like you can have signs that markets are overheated, you can also have signs that markets are potentially oversold, seller exhaustion, right? As such, if history repeats, they're saying that this is paving the way for Bitcoin to go up. They say we received the same signal yesterday suggesting that Bitcoin price was oversold relative to active addresses on exchange and could now be ready to bounce back over the coming weeks. They say while we may not rally as hard and as fast, fundamentally nothing has changed with how Bitcoin works. Nothing is broken. We are just experiencing a lot of bad media coverage after a strong rally at the start of the year. They went on to conclude, we may see price make its way back up to the stock to flow line in the coming months. This would mean new all-time highs for Bitcoin before the end of this year, as the stock to flow is currently sitting at around $85,000 for Bitcoin. So obviously, when you're in these moments, when you're feeling the doom and the gloom and the despair, you feel like there's no chance of coming back, we're going to zero, whatever it is, and then we bounce back, we continue, and the euphoria kicks in again, right? I'm still keeping my eyes on this triangle, whether it be asymmetrical. I think it could also be a descending triangle, depending on what happens, where we bounce back next. But that being said, $85,000 by the end of the year, guys. Not too shabby, right? I could wait another 6 months. I don't know about you, lots of time to accumulate, right? That would be the case. But outside of the technicals, there are so many fundamentals that are positive for Bitcoin. We've heard about the El Salvador news. We're officially mining Bitcoin with volcanoes. Never thought I'd say that, right? But now we also have the Twitter chief executive Jack Dorsey, a longtime Bitcoin backer, has revealed that it's only a matter of time before either Twitter or their decentralized social network project Blue Sky integrates Bitcoin payments. In fact, down here, he responded only a matter of time to a Bitcoin fan account on Twitter who asked him to build the Lightning Network into Blue Sky or Twitter. So this is still happening, guys. We're still seeing lots of progress in the back. In fact, if you haven't seen this video, he essentially, Jack Dorsey tweeted the Nigerian flag, and this is Ray over here from Paxful, and this was over at the Bitcoin conference. He said the energy in Nigeria will transform the world. The youth have already begun building a Pan-African financial settlement layer using Bitcoin, and nothing can stop peer-to-peer. Africa is now leading the new world of finance and crypto adoption. Let us all show them some love. And we have seen massive interest in nations in just the past week, potentially looking to follow in the footsteps of El Salvador as well. And if you didn't see this video, I do want to play this clip for you super quick.
If I had to give an example of what life would look like after Bitcoin, I would like to give a special shout out to the peoples of Nigeria. Some of the most amazing people. In fact, I wish I was Nigerian. These people on a different level. They're some of the most amazing humans I've ever met. I just came back from there a week ago. So here's the deal, guys. Nigerians get a bad rap, right? They are not scammers. Any scammers that you see in Nigeria are working for professional scam rings, most of which are outside of the country. This new generation of Nigerians are some of the most exceptional human beings that ever lived, and they are the ones that showed us the way. Everything I'm telling you right now, everything that I know, is from watching them and how they use our product. So what happened in Nigeria just a few months ago with the Nigerian central bank essentially forbidding their exchanges from using cryptocurrencies or dealing with cryptocurrency exchanges, it's some of the most amazing news you can ever imagine. And that's because the young people of Nigeria had turned to cryptocurrency and using it with such efficacy that the government had to institute draconian means to slow it down, but they can't. And here was the critical point. In January 2020, remittances, foreign currency coming into Nigeria, was at $2.5 billion. By September of 2020, that had fallen to $55 million. A 98.7% decrease in the amount of foreign money coming in, but it was a 98.7% increase in Bitcoin being used as remittances. That scared them, right? But it shows you the power of a motivated, youthful population to actually move forward. Paxful has 1.5 million users in Nigeria. We've done $1.5 billion of volume there. And we're starting 2 offices there right now, incubation educational centers. Why? Was going there again made me realize that our work there has only just begun. And Nigeria is the lion of Africa. It is absolutely a harbinger of things to come. If you really want to know what this will look like, come to Nigeria. You'll be my personal guest.
Awesome.
So not only are we seeing this amazing advancement over in places like Nigeria and El Salvador and a lot of other Latin American countries that are getting interested, we also heard maybe some good news finally coming out from India as well. And as far as the mining FUD is concerned, the mining industry has already started moving away from China and towards the West. So according to Fred Thiel, the CEO of Marathon Digital Holdings, this was in their latest edition of Thinking Crypto, he said the Bitcoin mining industry has already made great progress towards carbon neutrality. The aim is to become 100% carbon neutral, rolling 70,000 miners on carbon neutral power, which operates on 100% renewable activity. So it seems like a lot of these arguments against Bitcoin are getting sort of harder and harder to keep saying when you're seeing all of this progress in the background. This is why you have to keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Look, if you're a short-term trader, then yeah, we could have some downside. This could be a great opportunity to scalp short. But overall, if you are a hodler long-term for Bitcoin, these are the types of things that you need to pay attention to. Not to mention, probably one of the biggest things that's happened recently is Taproot. The Taproot upgrade has officially gained enough support from Bitcoin miners to begin the activation process. Now, this update is aimed at making smart contracts more efficient and providing more privacy for Bitcoiners. The process is expected to take around 5 months and fully be activated around mid-November. So you gotta kind of tune out the negative noise and realize what is happening, the infrastructure that's being built, the interest around Bitcoin, the fact that we could still be underestimating a lot of this institutional inflow, which we did have from 10,000 all the way up to 30 and maybe a little higher than that. but don't forget how many are still sitting on the sidelines. There were a lot of people that once the price started rallying said, I'm not going to buy at these levels, but so many of them were saying they were looking for these lower prices to buy in. So once again, not saying that the bottom is 100% in, but I can tell you there is a lot of interest in Bitcoin specifically, especially at this price level between the $30,000 to $38,000 level, as we have seen with a lot of the volume. And finally, ending on some nice news today, Venmo is now you can now pay with crypto on Venmo. Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you can't send it to others. You can't pay with it for anything. You can't transfer it out to non-custodial wallets. But obviously, this is just them getting their foot in the door. I'm sure eventually they'll take the same route as PayPal. And guys, at some point, whether or not we want to admit it, whatever happens at the G7 summit happens. But realistically, banks are going to have to sooner than later put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. It's just going to be something that it's going to be unheard of at some point if you don't have some type of Bitcoin on your balance sheet. We're seeing nations do it. We're seeing publicly traded companies do it. We're seeing hedge funds get into it. And it's only a matter of time until the banks do as well. Not that we need that for the success of Bitcoin, but I think it kind of just shows us exactly where we're headed. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I wish I had more to tell you since the past 3 days, but essentially we're still just ranging in this area. And we're essentially just looking for a breakout or a breakdown. Obviously, the closer we get to this resistance, the more I'd be looking to, potentially short the resistance, not financial advice. And the same thing goes for these supports down here. Could get dragged out for a little bit longer. Could be one of those, just bore people so much that they stop paying attention. But I do think we are going to have a very big move relatively soon, I'd say within the next week. And yeah, I still do think there's a possibility of retesting 42,000, 55,000, but then we do want to keep our eyes on whether or not we officially put in that lower high. So I will keep you updated with whatever I do see in the charts. Obviously, I haven't made videos every single day, but there wasn't really much to talk about. It did pretty much what we thought it was going to do. And this is really where we kind of expected the price to be today. So Monday's a big day. We do have to see what futures have to say about that. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos in the first place. If you are interested in learning how to leverage trade, if you are a beginner, I suggest using a paper account, but there are lots of opportunities to make money both when Bitcoin goes up or down in these markets. Also, I have almost $4,000 in bonuses if you guys are interested in using the links below in this video, as well as the pinned comment. And also make sure to beware of scammers. There's literally just, I can't keep up. I've blocked hundreds of accounts. I've reported accounts. I've hidden comments. There are lots of scammers below. Remember, guys, I'll never ask you for any money or anything like that. Please just be careful. And if you are interested in learning how to trade, check out these videos right here, right now. And until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.